my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my swim time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my swim time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. I am beyond hyped to announce tonight's guest. It is, it's my blueprint for the future of wrestling. It is the one, the only. It is Vusyk. How are we doing, dude? You good?
I'm very good. Very, very good. You?
Oh, mate, awesome. 5x5. As mentioned, I did the artwork a while ago. You were the number one blueprint for that wrestling piece of artwork that I kind of came up with. And I was like, I'm going to do a blueprint of anyone, any kind of wrestler for the next generation for me. I was like, who's it going to be? And I was like, it's got to be Vus, dude.
I love it. It reminds me of when I used to do karate. My sensei told me, comparing me to another person who was training at the time, only like a young little lad who used to mess around. He said, if we had, just one of you, we'd all be screwed. But if let's say we had a class full, let's say 20 people of Vusyk, we'd take over the world. That's what we do.
Vusyk World Order, VWO. Yeah. There you go.
I'll remember that.
Right. But yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, it just goes to show, like we talked about it before, when you was first on, doing the martial arts, the commitment, dedication it takes, the mindset, and just that drive, to do what you do, but do it to, the next level kind of thing. I'll throw it back to the nunchucks thing that I saw you doing on Instagram. We talked about last time, I was like, oh, you must have been doing it for years. And you was like, a couple of weeks, month, maybe. And you was just like, freaking Michelangelo style, just wrapping them chucks around. So some people just come naturally, I think.
It's just the discipline thing. That's all it is. It's not a natural thing. I always say that nothing ever comes natural to anyone. I don't believe that. To me, it's part of whether you enjoy whatever it is you're doing and whether you have the discipline and the commitment to actually stick with it and train like hell. Because when you decide to put in the work, it's not like putting in an hour and then not really thinking about it for the rest of the day until next week, training like once a week. It's putting in every single moment of your life, throughout every day, throughout every minute, studying like hell and making whatever it is you do your life. That's when everything adds up. It's discipline above motivation. Motivation is something that will last for like a flash. Maybe you'll find an inspirational video on YouTube, you'll watch it and it'll motivate you for like maybe an hour, and then eventually it'll go, because obviously you're not watching that video anymore, because you have to now keep that motivation going. But that's called discipline. So it's the discipline that decides whether you succeed or not.
I like that. Yeah, I never thought about it that way before. But like you said, yeah, the motivation gets you up off your arse, but it's the discipline that maintains it, that keeps you going, that makes you come back for it. Like you sort of say, when the hype's died down, it's the discipline of that self-control that makes you just, keep going. Which, obviously, you've got the spades, it's just, I'm kind of going to use this as a little way to reference the whole Nathan Cruz matches you had at Tidal. Because obviously, you are one of Nathan's students. He kind of trained you, played a big part in your journey. And, he sort of said afterwards, man, the guy was, after that second match, he was hyping you up and just sort of saying, you're like one of the best things he's done training wise. And that will be a massive part of that. You know what I mean? It's that dedication, it's that commitment to you learning. And probably, as a teacher or as a coach, I can imagine Nathan just being like, I love this guy. He just fucking goes.
Those two matches are my best matches easily, and they will be for a long time. And they will be matches that I remember forever. There are only like two matches that I'll look back in history in years' time, when I'm like 35 years old, I'll still look back at those two matches just less than 3 years into my career and being absolutely proud of it. Everything that Nathan has done for me has been amazing, and he is the absolute best coach I've ever had. He's the best wrestler in the country, in Europe, and one of the best in the world. And I appreciate everything that he has done for me. And without him, I would not be where I am right now.
Dude, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, you know, I was at the shows, very, you know, closely associated with Tidal kind of things. So I had the pleasure of being there, and I can remember, you know, just because that's the thing as well. It wasn't just the matches; it was the emotion, it was the story, it was the, you know, you had something to get your teeth into. You kind of had something to, you know, that was just. It wasn't just an amazing match; it was an amazing feeling. It brought out emotion. You know, I can remember, like, I was speaking to, you know, Chloe from Fast Count, like when Nathan turned, you know, she was literally distraught. She was nearly like in tears at that moment. It was just like, oh my God. And it was just, it was wrestling 101, you know, that moment. I mean, you guys must have put matches on like that. You know, it takes a lot of trust and nothing but, you know, you just want each other to look the best you can do. So, yeah, like I said, they're your best matches for a reason. I can't even imagine how just excited you were.
Again, like, I'm not, you know, I don't get overexcited about anything, really. Again, it's going back to that discipline thing. It's the reason why I'm so calm, and the reason why I'm performing at such a high level, in my opinion, right now in such a short amount of time, is because I don't get overexcited. I just trust who I'm with, and I believe what I'm doing. I put in the work. And going back to that, storytelling is professional wrestling. That's what it's about. It's not about moves. It's not about match quality. It's not about match of the year or any of that kind of stuff. It's always, always, always been about the story. That's what makes moments, and that's what makes memories in professional wrestling, not some random good quality match you see now and again, but then you forget about it. It's about the story. And the story that me and Nathan told was, again, a classic one, coach versus student, but it's one that the title fans will absolutely remember. And that happened because I just felt like I belonged where I was. If I'm overexcited, or if I feel like, oh yeah, I can't wait to wrestle this person, blah, 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 then you'll see that. You'll see that I'm just a little kid in the candy shop who, you know, get what I want. But then, you know, you're seeing the nerves, you're seeing like the shakiness. But if you're relaxed and you don't care, in a way, in a good way, then you see the best result possible.
That's it. It's just too cool for school kind of thing. Like, so say, yeah, it's more, especially for yourself, for your, you know, how you are in the ring as a performer kind of thing. That's just that embodiment of cold, you know, not in a, you know, I say not in a bad way. It's just cool. It's cold. It's calculated. You know, there's no real emotion there. It's just forward motion, basically. Just that momentum. But yeah, dude, like what I said, you know, it is definitely, you know, a match of the year contender, but not just because of the story. I think that was the perfect chemistry, or the perfect mixture of an amazing story, but with a perfect match as well. Kind of, an amazing match. I'm not going to say a perfect match, but an amazing match. Yeah, when you get an amazing storyline and an amazing match, you know, either could be a match of the year contender. You put those together, and yeah, there's a reason why I think it's a strong favourite to win Tidal's match of the year at the end of the year awards that I believe they are currently doing over on Twitter.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did. If I'm allowed to be cocky for once, I would not be surprised if it won it.
There we go. I love to see it every now and again, just a little glimpse, just a little bit. But yeah, you know, then you've got that going on at Tidal. You know, obviously the Iron Will, and I know, obviously, speaking as a Tidal fan, I think that's something that we look forward to. Is just knowing that, you know, we're going to get 20 minutes or 30 minutes of Vusyk goodness. You know, no matter who you're against, we know your matches are going to be like 20 or 30 minutes, and we just get this solid display of just ring psychology, just this ring general. This dude is just, I mean, well, I'll kind of hype it up, ready for the next show. You know, you've gone through, I was going to say Rob Drake, but obviously it was Tom Thurwell, who I gave props to after that match. I thought it was a really good match you and Thurwell had. You've had Rob Drake, you know, Nathan Cruz, and then you've got it's a 4-way Iron Will match in January, which I think will be interesting, especially, you know, you've got Ronnie Knox in there, Arthur Scuro, and Chris Aries. Man, I think that's going to be. It'll be good to see you in that. It's slightly different.
Again, not too different from when I first won the belt.
Because it was 5-way, wasn't it?
I was in a 5-way, yeah. So it would be nice to go back to that style of a match, a multi-man Iron Man match. That it'll be a tricky one, but I am absolutely going to enjoy that. Chris Aries, Ronnie Knox, and what was the other guy's name again? I forget.
Arthur Scuro,
that's it. Because again, all these guys, apart from Chris Aries, I ain't wrestled. But to be fair, I could say that about most of the matches that I have now. Like, most of the time, like, I'm wrestling people for the first time. Because again, I'm still kind of new. And like, at True Grit on Saturday, I had the triple threat match against, I had triple threat against Riley Nova and Jay Vergo, which is my favourite triple threat match I've ever had. And again, these two they're new to me. You know what I mean? I've never wrestled with them, barely trained. Well, no, I had actually trained with them, I don't think. No, I haven't trained with them. Because I was thinking back at Sheffield, because I know Jay trains there. But no, even then, I haven't trained with them, I haven't wrestled them. It's all new experiences to me, and to smash it out the park with them, it just shows it. It's like going back to Nathan real quick. Like, we have obviously absolute great chemistry, but it's not like we've trained together or practiced together or anything like that. It's just you just get in there and it just clicks. That's what's great discovering that once you get in the ring.
And that favourite triple threat comment, that got a reaction out of me because one of my favourite triple threats from I'm certain it was at the Rumble. So at the very start of this year. It was you, Jet Marshall, and Joe Wade, I want to say, at True Grit. It was at True Grit as well. Kind of think JC loves putting you in a triple threat. That's what I'll say. But yeah, it's just, so that, to me, that was an amazing match. But like you said, this one you had at the weekend, that was quality. I love Jay as well. I think Jay's, he's going to be huge. They're just waiting for something to drop kind of thing, waiting for promoters to pick up on Vertigo. Either as Jay or Hack and Slash. I've got to shout out Hack and Slash. And Riley Nova as well. It's the first time I've seen him live. And yeah, the dude I thought was very, very cool. So again, I know you're the promo afterwards shouting out Brady. So I don't know, it might be you and Riley one more time, one-on-one. I'd take that, to get through him to get to the boss man, seeing as he's Brady's little bitch boy also.
I love it. Either way, Riley one-on-one, Brady one-on-one, both of those outcomes, both of those results, both of those matches have such high potential and have so much story and layers to what we can do. And again, it's somewhat similar to what me and Nathan did. It's any story that I've been involved in, and I don't like to say his name now, Sash Money Cash. Yeah, and that's someone who I've built up a story with for over a year. Because of our encounter as a tag team, me being his bodyguard, our miscommunications and all that, us splitting up, me delivering the uppercut head round York, to me becoming a babyface, me becoming good guy Vus in True Grit, to now where I am potentially going for the True Grit Heavyweight Championship. All that, even though I don't like to say it, it doesn't happen without Sash. It doesn't happen without the storytelling. It doesn't happen without any of that. The reaction from the crowd when I just entered True Grit, I was shocked by the reaction. I was really shocked. I was like, whoa, I am these people like me. Now they do, but that's because of the respect I've earned over the year with the story told with Sash, now being told with Riley and Brady, and with that added on, it's just going to keep getting better.
So I'm going to start being slightly worried that you have an issue with people from Nottingham or around that area this week. So I'm going to keep my distance as well as shows as just in case. But like you said, to be an awesome babyface, or for the fans to get that reaction, it does take a really good heel. And to give the devil his due, Sash is good at what Sash does, which is antagonize people, wind people up to the point where, you sock him in the face, mate, instant babyface. You're the John Cena of True Grit after that moment, kind of thing. You could have brought t-shirts out on the merch stand and sold out. And everyone was like, "Yep, that's the guy who hit Sash. I'm buying your t-shirt." But again, it's like you said, it's that storyline. It's something for you to, because that's the thing. The fans really wanted to cheer you from day one. But obviously, we was kind of programmed to be like, "Oh crap, he's with Sash," or he's with Shreddy, kind of thing. We can't cheer him as much as we want to. So we, as a fan, we were kind of sat there, and the anticipation was building, and it was building because we was like, we know at some point, man, Vus is going to turn on Sash. He's too good. He doesn't need Sash, and it was just building. It was like it was building up to a boiling point, and then, like I said, when you delivered that up, it was just like, flipping rice pudding exploding out of a slow cooker all over the ceiling. It was just all gooey goodness, and like, yes, there we go.
That shows professional wrestling is about to get a reaction from one simple European uppercut to get that rice pudding explosion. That's what professional wrestling is right there. Nothing else. That's what professional wrestling is.
When it's done right, and obviously, JC knows what he's doing. He knows the fans, and he kind of teased us. And obviously, everybody played the part perfectly. It was just building and building. And I keep forgetting, like you said it a couple of times, already. You are only 3 years.
It'll be 3 years at the end of January.
That's ridiculous, though. Sort of like, because I had you pegged last year. After our last conversation, I was like, you're going to start belt collecting in 2024, which you did. You've had a few belts this year. You're sort of building it up. You're challenging for belts. Whether you're in or not, you're in the picture. You're in, the main events. You're going up against main event people. We talked about it off camera. I was just, you against Leon Slater. NGW kind of thing. That was. It was meant to be you, Leon, and Robbie X. Obviously, then they had to shuffle it, and it ended up being against Leon Slater. But for them to put you in originally, to have that mindset of, right, we've got Robbie X, we've got Leon Slater, who's the third guy? Vus, right? We'll put Vus in there. That's not even 3 years into your journey, mate. That is mental.
3 years in, and my opponents, if it was to go to the plan, was Leon Slater, who's in TNA, and Robbie X, who's in New Japan / Bullet Club. So it's like, everything I'm doing seems to be going exactly to plan, really.
I can't even elaborate on it. I can't even sort of add to that. That is exactly, it speaks for itself. I put that match. You look at that match graphic, and it's like it doesn't look out of place. I saw that poster for NGW, and I was just like, that looks like an awesome show. At no point did I be like, something here doesn't quite look like the other thing. It was just like, no, all three, bosh, that'd have been amazing. And that's NGW. The list of promotions that you're turning up for now, and turning out and doing what you do, is the big name promotions as well, dude. You're not like just rocking it up at the little shows or anything like that. You're rocking it, like I said, NGW, True Grit, Tidal. You was wrestling in Newcastle yesterday on the same card as Nathan Cruz versus Rampage Brown.
Yes.
Mate, I said before, that is the best show I've ever seen advertised for a tenner. That was unreal.
Yeah, I know. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch Nathan Cruz and Rampage because I was on after them, unfortunately. I really wanted to watch that match, but I was good that I didn't see it. I probably will be able to see it at some other point in time. But,
yeah. Hit Benji up. You'd like just. I'm sure you could sweet talk him into sending you the match, or hopefully they'll put it on YouTube at some point. That because wrestling in Newcastle are very, very good with the YouTube and to the fans, so we appreciate them. But yeah, it was you and that really cool guy who's got lots of friends. It's the Ian Skinner against Joe Wade and Henry Frost. You and Skinner, mate, that is just the odd couple personified, surely.
Honestly, like it's a very similar but slightly different thing with me and Sash in a different way. Sash is a bit more aggressive and in your face. Ian's very Ian. But again, it's those type of parents that I love. Like, it's opposites that work with each other. Like, it's cool putting two people together that look the same, who are the same size or whatever, but when you have the opposites, like my favorite tag team back in the day, or when I was a kid watching it, was
Oh no.
Right, are you ready?
Hell no. Was it Hell no?
No. It was Batista and Rey Mysterio.
Oh, okay.
That was always my favorite tag team back in the day, because it was the complete opposites. You have the underdog, Rey Mysterio, the high flyer, the guy who always get beaten up during the match. And then you wanted Batista to get tagged in. You wanted him to come in. And then when he gets tagged in, he's going to spear, spine buster, and powerbomb everyone. And that's the excitement of having the opposites there. That's what works with me, my head, what I watch. That's what I enjoy. And with Ian, it just works. It just works. And then
chats all the shit, and then you just come in back on. There you go. So let Ian do the talking, and then you just deliver the goods, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a throwback. It's not a throwback, but it's kind of again. I'm seeing that match graphic, and I'm like, it's throwing me back to you against Joe Wade, two guys that I could just watch fight. I know it's a tag match, and there's two other people involved, and they're amazing people. But in my head, I'm just like, when I do get to see this show, I just want that moment where you and Joe are just in the ring and just kicking, the crap out of each other, basically, because you both give as good as you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Joe Wade is very much a striker based, right? And I always tend to get put up against strikers, don't I? Because everyone wants to see me get battered, and they want to see me bat people. So that's the entertainment in professional wrestling. Up for Vusyk, right? But honestly, again, I've had some of my favorite matches with Joe Wade, like especially the first pursuit, if you remember that. And again, that back then, like, again, I was only still learning. It's crazy, like, just to go off topic a little. It's crazy how much I've improved now recently, because I'll look back at some matches even then, or even now, I'm still proud of them, but I'll look back and I'll be like, wow, I've improved a lot. I still look at that match with Joe Wade, and I was so happy with that. And it was such a great moment, first pursuit, And again, it's just what it is, isn't it? It's just hard hitting shit in it, mate.
British strong style, whatever you want to call it. It was just Czech strong style. But yeah, as much as you sort of say people like to see you get hit, I'm not so much, but I just like the competitiveness of it. And I don't take pleasure in seeing you get whacked. Although I just want to throw it back to True Grit, mate. That one moment, I've got it on my phone still. I'm going to have to put it out there and just kind of dub over it, where Riley hits you with the chair, hits you on the back, and mate, you just no-sell that chair. You just turn around and look at him like, run. I was just like, yes. That is amazing. That moment was just perfect.
Cinema.
Whoa.
That was the first time I ever got hit with a chair as well in professional wrestling, so that was the first for me.
Wow. And you just well, you've set the standard now though, dude. It's a no shot. It's like, you like Sting.
You ain't getting me in death matches, all right? Don't you dare try and get me in death matches, hardcore matches. I ain't happening, all right? I'm a professional wrestler, okay?
No, I just mean though. No, I don't want to see you do death matches. I like what you do. But yeah, I'm just sort of saying it. Like, you're gonna have like, like if you watch WCW back in the day, or even in AEW, Sting is the like the no seller for the chair shot for me kind of thing. And that's now going to be, if you get hit with a chair, I'm just going to be like, yeah, you ain't going to touch him. He's just going to turn around and just look at you with those dead eyes and be like, run. You're like, ah.
I love it so much. I love it. Yeah, the story that me and Riley and Brady potentially will tell is going to be one to remember. And it all starts with that one chair shot.
Yeah.
And who knows, we might see another one where it might be me holding the chair this time. Who knows? Who knows? Or maybe I don't need a chair. Actually, no, I don't need a chair. I don't need it. It's fine. Who needs a chair? I don't need a chair.
Exactly.
I have these. This is all I need.
Exactly. 2 lethal weapons right there, Bosh. But yeah, like I said, I've got it. And at some point, I am just going to put it on socials, and I'll just be like, it was at this moment he realised he fucked up. And then you just turn it up.
Then you have that run, it goes run, dun, 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 then that.
Yeah. That's it. I'm like, yes, sorted. Job's good. But yeah, so obviously, that whole Joe Wade thing, I was going to say, you said, Mysterio and Batista. The other one for me, we talked about like the odd couple thing is obviously like Team Hell No. That's why I thought it was either going to be Batista and Ray or Kane and, D-Bry. And I was just like, yeah, one of those two. But again, it just works really. Oh, hell, Al Snow and Steve Blackman. You want an odd couple.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I didn't think about that, to be fair. I don't know much about wrestling like that time, because my time period was 2009 and onwards.
Yeah.
That's when I started watching it.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm old, so I would be like, but everybody should know and acknowledge the awesomeness that was Steve Blackman. Dude, he was like 30 years ago or something. The dude was just one of the hardest men on the planet. He was just kicked the shit out of people. It was amazing. But he just, I don't know, he just never got anywhere. But so yeah, anyway, we're talking about obviously you. I'll do a Steve Blackman episode down the road. We'll acknowledge him. This is Vusyk's time. So Burnley Pro Wrestling is not a promotion I've ever been able to get to, but from what I've seen, it looks awesome. It looks like a very good sort of just atmosphere. The cards always look really stacked. The talent looks amazing. It's at Turf Moor as well, kind of thing. I can just imagine that being a very good place to, one of those bookings where you kind of get excited to go there.
Yeah. I really enjoy the Burnley shows. They're pretty big shows. They get like 300, 400 people on a regular there. It's mad, to be fair. Like I said, the venue's quality. It's in that Turf Moor place. Like, it's on Astra Turf. But again, it's a great surrounding. It's a great area. It's a great everything, to be fair. It's got the massive Titantron thing, which is crazy. Looks amazing. Yeah. It's a great place to be. And just to go back a little bit, Brady happens to be wrestling there. And I think, I'm not sure if I'm right, actually, he might be the Burnley Pro Wrestling Champion. So there's 2 belts that Brady has that I might want to. Yeah. There's a good bit of business to be done with Brady.
That's it, man. You two guys could just run the territories. We'll call it like you go all over the country and just put on a show for everyone. Be like Harley Race and Ric Flair back in the day. I'm not that old. I just know my history. So like Harley Race or Flair. Funkin' Flair, or anybody back in the day. Talking about titles, I've got to bring this up as well, but just again for the iconicness of it, the photo, that was just put out there. Massive shout out to Eyes of the Fans, the guy who does the photo for Tidal. I keep joking with you, dude, that I could literally just copy all the photos that you put on the social medias of his and just do like a flip book of some of your matches, because the dude takes so many good photos and you're very good at sharing them, and acknowledging. But there was that picture of you and Spike, Mr. Trivet, where you're holding the belt and he's just kind of stood over your shoulder. It's like that.
Yeah. I could just feel when I was looking at the belt, like when I first picked it up, like I could just feel that he was there. So when I just slowly turned, I was and I just thought, this is quality. This is the best. I mean, there's a good saying we like to use in professional wrestling. That's called planting a seed. And you never know what can happen over time or what you do with it. With good care, something good could grow out of it. And in the future, me and Spike Trivet may or may not, will or will not cross paths. And if or if not we do, then you will see something quality.
That's it. Because, you know, again, anybody who knows the show, who knows me, again, I try and talk about Ty, but not in a, I try not to do it overly because I don't want to be biased. You know, I don't want, because people know the association kind of thing. But one thing I will always say is I am forever grateful that I get to see Spike Trivet, you know, because seen him down south loads, and again, social media and stuff. Never got to see him in person until he came up here. And then for me, the thought of you two, I'm just like, oh, that is just, you know, like two of my top 5 people in the business currently. That's just, like I said, it's just something to get excited about. You're planting the seeds. If or when it ever happens, you know, it's just like, yeah, mate, that is wrestling 101 for me. And it must be good for you as well, though, because as I say, it's, again, I say you're not even 3 years into the journey, but the teasing, you know, like a storyline or a potential clash with Spike Trivet, you know, he's one of the best in the world.
Spike Trivet is my favourite British wrestler in the country. He's my favourite wrestler in the country, easily. And that was from watching him once at one of the last Progress shows that I went to just to help out with. It was him and Kid Lycos in a steel cage match. And it was for the Progress title. That's when Kid Lycos won it. And that was when I thought to myself, Spike Trivet is the best in the country. Absolutely. Maybe me coming up at second, but you know, I don't want to be too cocky. And obviously, I'll always say that Nathan's the best, but without me sounding biased, my other answer is Spike Trivet. Absolutely. And again, if something does come up with me and him, that will be the best. That's yeah, you know, I mean, that's just something to shout about. That's, again, it's something to, I've stopped asking people if they've got lists or, you know, people they want to work with kind of thing, but it's something to, it's like playing a game. It's like a trophy unlocked, you know, it's achievement. You've unlocked this achievement kind of thing. You know, that's like, yes, you know, you can walk away and be happy about it. I'll just name the people. So the 2 people that I want to wrestle in British wrestling with Spike Trivet added on, the 2 people were Leon Slater, who I've already just done, and Michael Oku. Those are the 2 people who I want to wrestle. Just because I know if you put us together, we would create something magical. And like what me and Leon did at NGW, it was amazing having that moment to finally wrestle Leon. Because I'm surprised it took so long, but now that I had that chance, and especially because it was originally a triple threat, and then when I got turned to a singles, that's when I was like, everything happens for a reason. There you go. It's time to shine, and we did. We did in front of City Hall, in front of near 800 people. Full quality. And going to Michael Oku and Spike Trivet, those are 2 people, again, 2 different style wrestlers, but 2 people who I look up to and 2 people who I see as the best in the country. That's the target, that's the standard, that's what I'm aiming for, and above, if possible.
Dude, that's the thing, though. And again, not to repeat myself, not to sound like a broken machine, but the fact that we're even having this conversation, you know, like you said, what, January? So, you know, 1 month short of quickly doing the maths here, you know, 35 months into your journey kind of thing, you know, and we're talking about this, and it's realistic. If somebody announced those matches next month or next week, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like we said about the Leon Slater thing, it doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look like, you know, you could turn up in any promotion for me and just be a credible matchup for anyone. So, you know, that's me kind of obviously, yeah, hyping you up, you know, sort of saying, but acknowledging again just how highly I regard you, and how highly I think you are regarded, or I know you are regarded, you know, in the business kind of thing by the fans. Because obviously I talk to a lot of people, and dude, you're always at the top of a lot of people's lists. So I'm just like, ah, mate, it's amazing. I want to talk about. Hopefully, I've got this right. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a melt. But you was at the last BWR show, was you not? You know, like their biggest show ever, kind of thing.
I was in the Battle Royal. Yes, I was.
Yeah. Just because, again, you know, BWR, awesome promotion. Like to acknowledge as of when possible. But that was a huge thing for them. You know, obviously they got this new venue. It was, you know, it was massive. It was. Well, I'm gonna. Was it like 500, 600, 700 people or something along those lines?
I think it was 700, 800 people.
Yeah. That's what I mean, right? It's like, so that, again, it must have just been a good time. You know, it must have just been the energy, the electricity. You know, especially like you walking out. I know you kind of soak it all up and you take it all in. It's just like, there we go, and you just channel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same thing. Going back to the start, it's just a discipline thing. Every crowd is the same to me. Every venue is the same. But of course, I will acknowledge and appreciate those moments, because I do have that little feeling in me, like, yeah, this is going well. This is going exactly to plan. Still keeping it controlled, like, but again, BWR was where I started. The Evo Academy.
Yes. Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, my debut match was at the very first Evo Academy show, which was on the 29th of January 2022. Yeah, that's right. And over that time, I've had now 104 matches altogether since then. And go from that Evo Academy show to this BWR show, the Grimsby Auditorium, to go to the Connection Live Arena, and, you know, for NGW and Hull, to be on one of WAW's Fightmare shows in front of 1,000 people last year. You know, it's been crazy.
It's just like, I could say it's a roller coaster, but it's not even a roller coaster, because it's just a massive. It's like the biggest incline ever for a roller coaster kind of thing with no drop. It's just going to the moon. Cliche alert, but you know, it's to the moon. But again, you know, that's, I should say that it's nice to know that you allow yourself a little bit, you know, just a split second to be like, this is kind of cool, and then bash, you know, game face back on kind of thing. I want to shout out whoever made your current ring gear, because dude, that is some serious clobber. That is fucking awesome. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes. You know, I didn't think anything was missing. I thought you looked like, you know, the bee's knees and his elbows already. But then when you came out with that gear, I was like, there we go. You know, that's just that extra little.
That's the thing that changes everything.
Yeah.
Because it's good being good at wrestling, but if you don't look the part, then there's not a lot we can really do with you. So if you make those little changes and you find the thing that just works, and I know I found exactly what works, now things will kick in. Now, when you see me, like, let's say, for example, if this happens, if me and Brady Phillips fight for the True Grit Heavyweight Championship, now I look the part. Now I look like I suit there. Even though maybe as in terms of wrestling ability, I absolutely am there. But if I was just wearing the plain white shorts, plain white kick pads, do I look right? Do I maybe look right holding the True Grit Heavyweight Championship? But now with what I got, yeah, absolutely. So the jacket and the shorts were made by Susie Wong, a boxing place in Manchester. It was so cool because you go in there and you literally sit down in front of like this computer and they design it in front of you, you know, so that's quality. And then I got the kick pad covers and the knee pads made by JJ Creations, just like, I think, an Italian place. I have no idea. I just saw it on Instagram and I was like, that place, that looks quality. And yeah, they both those absolutely smashed it out of the park. Exactly what I had in mind is right in my hands. Right of what I'm wearing is exactly what I wanted. And now it's made the difference.
That's the thing as well, like you sort of said, it's the look. Like I said, you know, the in-ring work was always there, always on point kind of thing. You know, it's just, but it's that moment I noticed it obviously like, at True Grit. You know, being in the crowd, being sort of sat a bit further back. When you just stood up on the ring apron and you had the hood up and you just pull it back. It's the little mannerisms. It's like just being able to, like, when you pull the hood back, you just kind of like you're just doing your stuff, and it's like he looks like a star. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. It's the little things that make the difference. And if you can find it, you've cracked it. And I believe I've cracked it when it comes to the look. I'll always improve and improve every single day now on my wrestling. But in terms of the look, I've cracked it. I believe so.
Mate, I'm not going to argue that. I'm agreeing with you. I brought it up. I fully agree. I want to quickly mention, we talked about a few other things. I just want to acknowledge when I had Jake Silver on the Pop Punk Kids, he was telling me that one of his dream matches for Planet Wrestle would be Vusyk versus Lou Nixon. It inspired me so much that I went off and did some artwork of it. I've got this whole comic Street Fighter style fight graphic of you and Lou versus and then obviously I put it out there, and JC was like, oh well, they're both part of the True Grit, Pure Grit League kind of thing, so that match will happen at some point at True Grit. I was just like, but yeah, Lou Nixon, Vusyk versus Lou Nixon, mate. That's like, you'll last longer than Ian Skinner, I'm sure.
That's
but yeah, man, that must be a match that you could kind of think about and be like, yeah, man, you'd be excited just for the, again, like with the whole Joe Wade thing, you give as good as you get. I think you appreciate, just a good stand-up fight sometimes.
Again, Lou Nixon is one of those people who I respect in wrestling because of their background in fighting. Same with people like Brett Semtex, who I'd love to wrestle. Ricky Knight Jr., and those type of guys are the lads that I love to be around, the people that I'd absolutely love to wrestle. Lou Nixon, this isn't going to be the first time I actually wrestle him, because I did wrestle him in my first year in wrestling, which was Avant-Garde Wrestling in Newcastle, which is a company that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, that was my very first encounter with Lou Nixon, and it's one that I still remember today. And even he does still talk about it. And to have a rematch now at this stage, past that first year green learning stages of Vusyk to now me where I am with the new gear, the new everything, like the more complete version of Vusyk, this is going to be something else when we do get a chance to wrestle. I know it's pure rules, and I know it's, very much promotion on tech wrestling, but I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. I love the fact of, it'll be like, 3 rope breaks. I'm just imagining both of you guys being like, no, don't need rope breaks. Give us 0. It's all right. I'll sacrifice my 3 rope breaks. Lou's be like, yes, fuck it, let's just go for it. But that's the, that would be, in that case, that would be an amazing kind of. I don't know how you do it, or I know some people. I've spoken to a few people, and they always kind of wrestle. They've kind of found themselves wrestling the same person at about the same time every year over the last several years, and it's kind of become like a bit of a tradition, and they can use it to measure, how they've improved, what they're doing different, and things like that. So yeah, I can imagine you having this match with Lou, and then if you've got footage of the first one, being like, okay, you've just seen like worlds apart, the difference between the 2 matches.
Yeah, absolutely. Even like, I look at matches that I've had this year, and I still see the improvements that I make. That's how I know I've improved. I'm not just improving like 1% at a time. I'm improving like 5%, 10% at a time. Like, I'll watch wrestling every day, because I have the time. I'll just watch and watch and watch as much as possible, and burn myself out and still keep watching to try and find something to improve on, even if it's the smallest of details possible. That's my extra 5% or 10% that I'm finding out, figuring out, working on to improve myself. Because again, like going back to discipline, without me deciding to make changes, deciding to get the new gear, deciding to watch, 20 extra minutes of this 20-minute match for today, to watch more and more and more, and do all these extra things backstage and behind the cam, whatever you don't see, the conversations that I have, without me deciding to do that, none of this happens. Like, if I didn't decide to do some of the things that I did recently, I probably wouldn't have my new gear right now, or I probably wouldn't be as polished and improved as I am at wrestling. It's those small things, it's those little details, and it's the simple decision to put in that extra work that makes the difference and makes you look worlds apart from today to even yesterday, which is crazy.
Dude. I also want to acknowledge, I did one recently, and I pointed out that every time I saw a Vusyk video on social media, you was bending this guy like a pretzel. So I would like to acknowledge Paul Momentum and his part in helping you improve, whether he wanted to or not, kind of thing. But yeah, shout out to Mo for being being very bendable and allowing you to bend him. It did seem, man. I think I saw like several videos back to back, and it was always Paul Mo that you was just bending all over the place.
Yeah, Paul Mo. I just looked around the building and I was like, "You, come here."
Just imagine it be like that moment though, where you do that and he looks around and everybody else is just fucked off. Everybody's just done one. Everybody's one, and Paul Mo's just stood there like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't ask. I was just like, you.
Love it. So, like when you just said there, you're watching wrestling. So, I mean, obviously, are you watching your old stuff? Are you watching, stuff that's on TV? Are you kind of researching? Are you still able to watch it as a? I know, obviously, you being you'll be taking notes, you'll be doing this. But are you able to turn off and just still watch wrestling as a fan, or are you constantly just fucking in educational mode?
I'll always be in educational mode, but I will absolutely be a fan of wrestling if what I'm watching turns you into a fan. Because again, any match that you watch can turn anyone into a fan of wrestling, even like a non-wrestling fan. Like, for example, the last time that I felt like a child, and absolutely like a child watching professional wrestling, was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at this year's WrestleMania. That back end with, Jey Uso making the appearance, them going through the table, Jimmy and Jay, John Cena entering. I lost my shit when that happened. And then when The Rock entered, and then when the Shield music hit, honestly, then I actually thought to myself, is Dean Ambrose coming as well? And I was good when he didn't, but didn't matter anyways. And then when The Undertaker, because at first, obviously, the prediction was Stone Cold was going to show up. And even when you watch some footage back, you could hear people chanting, oh, Sting, because they were predicting it. But then when that gong hit, like, I lost my shit. That was, I felt like a child then. And you can see in the audience too, the reaction. I've never heard a reaction like that in wrestling in a long time, just for that simple gong. And then the end of the match, obviously, when Cody won the WWE belt, yeah, I was a child right there in that moment. Even though I'm Vusyk and I'm someone who's trying to learn professional wrestling, yeah, anything I watch can turn anything in anyone into a child. Even me, even the non-wrestling fan, anyone, absolutely.
That's the thing, though, because I remember that, and people complaining, like, again, as they do, the IWC kind of thing, it was overbooked or this, that, or the other. It was, it was convoluted. It was, but it was like, no, like you said, it was just perfect, because if you let yourself go and remember why you like wrestling, why you enjoy wrestling, why you love wrestling, it was just that moment that it was magical. And it was just like, if you just let yourself go, you let yourself be happy, you let yourself enjoy it, dude, you're getting swept up in the moment. And yeah, I defy you not to have a massive smile on your face.
Again, I'm stoic. I'm very professional. I don't get excited about many things. That made me lose all of that. all of that logic, you know. And again, that was easily my favorite match of WrestleMania ever, or just any WrestleMania from what I've watched, in my opinion. And that's simply based on how I felt. You know, I'll never forget how I felt in that moment. That'll always be there. And it'll be hard for it to be beaten, but we'll see what happens.
And that's the thing, though, that's my take on wrestling, is everybody's different. You know, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you that, you know, that match made you feel as it made you feel, and you could say it's the best match in the world. That is your fine. You know, I might not agree with you, but for you, you know, yeah, you know, if it gives you that feeling of happiness and just makes you be like, reminds you why you like wrestling, go for it, mate. It's the best match in the world.
It's nostalgia. That's what it is. It's like, have you ever played FIFA by any chance? Yeah. Like, what's the main thing about FIFA games that everyone, or people, proper FIFA players, that they love? What do you think it is?
Well, I just generally play manager mode. I just do like full
exactly.
season.
Yeah, that's exactly what I play as well. Yeah. So what the main thing in FIFA that everyone loves is the soundtrack. It's the music. Anytime when you play FIFA, you're playing it for hours and hours and hours, and obviously the music's playing over and over and over again. You're getting used to the songs. Then let's say years in the future, like now, the first FIFA that I properly played regularly was FIFA 13. And right now we're on FC 25. It's not even FIFA anymore. But when you go through all those years of FIFA 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all that music, it's clicked in my head. The moment the first note is played, I immediately know that song. And I remember where I was, like how old I was, the memories I had around that time. It's nostalgia. It's a different thing. To other people, maybe that particular music is just another song. They don't really know it. But to me, I might feel something for it. And that's what it is. That's nostalgia. It's memories.
That's it. I mean, again, I'm going to show my age here, unfortunately. I know what you're saying exactly, because like each FIFA's kind of got like a trademark song. It's got various songs on it, but there's always that one song that you associate with each year. Again, show my age. For me, it was FIFA 97. It was Blur Song 2. I just remember, you know, hearing that kicking in and watching like the gameplay. It had like 5-a-side. It was just, you know, it was amazing. But again, you know, I do it with the WWE games as well. There's certain songs from certain WWE games that you're just kind of, you're clocking like, I can remember like Yellow Wolf and Travis Barker, Out of Control, being on WWE 3 or 4 years ago, and that's always stuck with me. But yeah, it's just the things, again, you know, we talked about it earlier, it's planting seeds. I don't think you don't realize it at the time, but these things kind of get embedded in your head. And if something reminds you of it, or if you just, like you say, if you just hear it, it triggers that happy memory. It's just like, okay, you can't help but smile. Obviously, Limp Bizkit, My Way, you know, is associated with being one of the greatest music videos, one of the greatest promos, or, you know, wrestling videos pre-WrestleMania 17. Rock and Austin, you know, you hear My Way, you can't help but visually see Rock and Austin just going at each other.
And that's crazy because, again, I never watched that WrestleMania. I never watched that. I only recently watched it because I actually watched that match for the first time, like, you know, a few weeks ago. So I watched that video package, you know, for the first time. So anytime I ever heard that song, to me, it was probably just a normal song. But then to you, it's like something else. It's a similar thing. It's a very similar thing. It's crazy.
Dude, right, I'm sorry, man. I will get back to you. So, did you actually watch all of WrestleMania 17 then recently?
I watched all of it. Yeah, I've watched the most of it though. Yeah, I've absolutely watched most of it.
Again, you know, any wrestling historian will tell you, or they'll die on this hill. You know, it's the greatest WrestleMania ever, kind of thing. So, I'm always curious though to people who came after the Attitude Era. You know, if they go back and watch it, if it rings as true to them as it would do like for me. Because for me, it is. You know, it's my favorite WrestleMania. It was the end of the Attitude Era. Everything kind of came to a head, and it was just perfect. But if you weren't there at the time and you're watching it, like, you know, I would watch wrestling from the 80s kind of things. Like, I can appreciate it, but it doesn't hold as true. So yeah, I'm always kind of curious as to how newer fans find WrestleMania 17, if it kind of stood the test of time.
Again, The Rock and Austin, but again, I felt like a child watching that, to be fair. It was one of those matches, like, again, it made me feel things that's very hard for it to be forced out and, you know, to become organic. Rock and Austin was one of those matches. Again, I only watched it for the first time a few weeks ago, which I know, I'm sorry, but but I eventually watched it after all this time. And again, it was one of those matches. It was one of those moments. And I can absolutely tell exactly why people thought, you know, and believe that WrestleMania 13 was the best WrestleMania. I can see that. Really, I do.
That's it. It's just, yeah, the size of it and everything was huge. But back to the Vus. So yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we've talked NGW, we've talked BWR, we've talked Burnley, you know, Tidal, True Grit, wrestling in Newcastle. Dude, like I say, you're getting, over this last 12 months, you're just getting everywhere. And I want to shout out Ash, who does our Instagram. He's been saying it for as long as we've seen you. You know, he's always said, you know, you are one of his favourite guys in the UK, and he would not second guess. Look, again, I'm not besmirching any promotion, but as a fan, to me, you know, you've kind of got your Progress, you've got your Rev Pros, which seem to be, I don't know, again, from a fan, I'm speculating, but it kind of seems to be a lot of or North, you know, kind of thing where people want to get to, not to, like I say, not to besmirch anyone, but they're kind of like the ones that seem to have the most attention, you know, they get the most eyes on them kind of thing. So yeah, like your Rev Pros or your Progressors. Ash has literally said, you know, he wouldn't bat an eyelid if he saw a Rev Pro poster or a Progress poster, and you know, yeah, you was on it kind of thing. He'd be like, yeah, damn fucking right.
Yeah, again, like that is the target, especially for next year. If I can achieve getting in a Progress or a Rev Pro, that would be me. Again, everything is going to plan. That would be me saying that. If that happens, or when that happens, I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And again, Rev Pro, Progress, they are important. They are the most important companies in the country because of their connections, really. Like, Rev Pro's massive connection to New Japan. Progress, I'm pretty sure, has a massive connection to Noah. You know, so to get in those places, then you get another eyes on you, and that's what it's all about. So absolutely, Rev Pro and Progress, I'm coming for it all. Who's the champion now? Who's the champion now at Rev Pro and Progress? Is it Luke Jacobs? Who's the champion?
Luke Jacobs. Oh, it was. I don't know. Last thing, I don't know. Luke's. I don't know unless he lost it recently, but it was Luke Jacobs at Progress. Rev Pro.
Yeah, again, but again, if you was to ask me again, like, who's one of my, you know, dream opponents in British wrestling, Luke Jacobs is one of them, and that's purely because of the championships that these people have. Whoever holds the Progress Championship, the Rev Pro Championship, whoever holds gold or has a legacy that's worth being a part of, those are the people who I want to wrestle and build on my legacy for.
Well, you know, I mean, you've beaten a former Progress champion twice this year. You know, you've been in the ring with another Progress champion and gave him the belt back and planting the seeds. So, you know, the pedigree's there. You know, again, I say you wouldn't look out of place, and I don't think anyone in the right mind would second guess it. They'd be like, "Yeah, all right, this is very, very cool. We're looking forward to this." Also, I'm talking about Nathan Cruz. For anybody who doesn't know, obviously Nathan is a former Progress champion, one of the best, and yeah, obviously, you know, my boy here beat him twice, and it was 2 victories. One of them might have been technically a draw. I'm still counting it as a win.
Yeah, I kept my belt. So that means
Exactly.
I'm still class that as a win, right?
That's what I'm thinking. That's it. If you don't lose the belt, you ain't lost. So, but yeah, so Progress, Rev Pro. Are we talking like overseas? You know, going abroad. You know, Japan's got to be on the radar, man. I can just see you over there just being like, oh my, they would absolutely pop huge. You know, I can just imagine them being like, or like Vusyk mania, you know, in Japan kind of thing. That'd be amazing. But is that something? Again, I know it will be, but are we kind of guiding the ship, you know, that way?
We guiding the ship that way. Well, to be fair, I'm not too fussed really, because obviously what are the main ones? So America, obviously, Japan. You know, if we're talking like the major companies in the world, like what are there? There's WWE, AEW, TNA, there's New Japan, Noah, Ring of Honor, whatever Japanese company is there, AJPW.
AJ, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any ones in Japan, or are those the big three? Would you say?
I'm thinking FWA, but I think obviously that's not longer anymore, or Japan's not around anymore. I'm trying to remember what's still kicking about, you know, Japan-wise. But it's like Noah, Noah and New Japan. I'd say they're the top two. They're your progressors and your Red Pros.
So, like, we have 7 companies there, like 4 America, 3 Japan. I don't mind, because, especially recently, because of the matches that I had with Nathan, those style matches were very much more American / storytelling type matches. But we've also seen me have strong style, hard hitting type Japanese style matches up against people like Joe Weird and obviously everyone else who's a striker, whatever. But now I've proven that I can also do that storytelling type of wrestling, and I've shown my adaptability to essentially put me up against anyone, and I will work with it. I don't always just wrestle my style. I'll always adjust depending on what I'm up against. So let's say I'm up against a Dean Allmark, who's, you know, very much tech wrestler. You will see that, you know, nothing but tech wrestling from me at a high level. If you see me up against, again, a Leon Slater, who's a high flyer, you'll see how I adjust depending on how he reacts and how he does moves and how I'll try and keep him on the ground. If you see me up against a Sam Gradwell, once again, who's a big dude, just a hard hitter, but more solid and more huge, you know, again, it's my adaptability to try and work against that brick wall. And any other style in the middle, I'll always adapt and find ways to change what I do and make it work for what I need. So Japan, America, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't mind at all. Any style, any country, it just works for me, and I'll find a way for it to work no matter what.
Be water, be fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, but yeah. So I've obviously, you know, we've talked about Nathan. You know, we talked about, you know, Spike. I think a massive part of the trajectory. I'll start wrapping up in a minute. I just want to acknowledge. You mentioned in there Sam Gradwell, the 2 matches, you know, you had against Sam at Tidal. I think there's certain points, obviously, when you're looking through like your timeline, and there's certain things that kind of click, or maybe, again, I can only speculate as a fan, you know. But for me, the 2 matches you had against Sam Gradwell, you know, that's a massive learning curve. You know, I can imagine you're not coming out of those matches any worse than you went in. You know, I can imagine you haven't just learned so much from working, you know, those 2 matches with Sam that it caused the trajectory to get steeper.
Yep. Honestly. So the first match with Gradwell, I was really happy with it, but I knew I could have done so much better. That was the thing with that match, what I was good about. I knew, like, I wasn't at my best. And the reason why was because I had way too much respect for Gradwell. Because I had that mindset. Because, again, I was kind of still new at the time. It was at my second year in wrestling. Yeah, it was my second year in wrestling. So I had that mindset of, like, oh, this is a big name I'm up against for the very first time. And I let that ruin me. I let that ruin my mind, you know what I mean? And I just lost my focus there, you know. And instead of just relaxing and just, you know, doing what I usually do and just believing in who I am, I didn't perform at the best. It was a great match, absolutely. And again, it was one of those moments where I was like, right, now I know what I got to do. And then when the rematch came about, I didn't care at all about who Sam Gradwell was. I didn't have respect for him, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Because of that, now that I just believed I belonged in the position that I was in, and that I looked opposite me at someone like Sam Gradwell, who's NXT UK, you know, who's done all kinds of stuff in professional wrestling, who's been around for, you know, how many, 15 years or something like that, or maybe 16, something like, you know, again, long time, ages. And I'll look at him and I'll think, yeah, I think I'm all right. And then because I'm relaxed and because I don't care anymore about who's in front of me or what they've done in the best way possible, again, now I'm performing and now I'm relaxed. And that second match up against Gradwell was way better than the first one, way better. And even now, if me and Gradwell wrestle again, I would say that, oh, this third match was way better than that second one, you know, and that's the progress I love to make. It's those matches that make me click and make me realize this is what I need to do to improve. And I have that almost every single time now, even no matter who I'm up against, but especially up against those experienced people who've been wrestling for 15 plus years, like Nathan and Gradwell. Those are especially the moments where I have those light bulb, you know, cracked it now. Now I know what I got to do next.
You've had, you basically have like an epiphany, and it's just like, right, like I said, after the first Sam match, right, I cared too much, I showed too much respect. So a second time round, like I said, you just go in there and right, you acknowledge your awesomeness, right, nothing to fear. We're equals, or if not, you know, I'm superior kind of thing. You got that mentality going into it. It's like, yeah, okay, right, it's just another day at work. Let's do it, kind of thing. But yeah, as a fan, I know those two matches are so highly regarded, you know, from the people at the parish, you know, the title fans that got to see it. I mean, you got the Fight Forever chant, which it still stands. So I think when the fans start chanting that, you know, you're hitting all the right notes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, the fans tell a story just as much as the wrestlers in the ring. Depending on, you know, how you make the audience feel, depending on how they make you feel, that decides everything. And a crowd that is dead quiet and maybe not as excited, or, you know, for whatever reason, you know, could maybe not make a moment great, then it's the wrestler's job to pick them up. But then you have the moments where the fans are going wild and crazy, maybe they're drunk, but but when that happens, that now when you're in your ring, you feel it. You absolutely feel that moment. And one of my favorite chants I heard ever was a True Grit.
Check
it. When that chant happened, I was like, God, yeah, I'm now in a great mood, and now I'm gonna perform, and now, you know what I mean? Not that I wasn't, but you know.
Dude, I was there. To see you kind of thing, you actually kind of like, 'cause obviously, like you said, you're normally very machine, you know, methodic. You crack it on. But yeah, when that chant started going on, it was getting loud. Shout out to, you know, whoever the lads on tour were, you know, at True Grit on Saturday. You know, at first I was a bit like, oh crap. But no, they were good. They were good fun. They got some chants going. They got that going. And then, yeah, you know, I saw you just like your eyes lit up. It was just like,
yep.
You just, you know, the electricity. And in all fairness, man, it was probably that chant that kind of made you impervious, you know, to the chair shot. So there we go.
Yeah, exactly. I always say this. Any of my answers for most questions, it's just because I'm Czech. Hit me with a chair. How do you feel? I'm fine. You know why? Because I'm Czech. Police car. I'll be speeding, and policeman will stop me. I'll wind down my window. He'll look at me with this, you know, frown on his face. He'll say, "Do you have any idea what speed you was doing?" And I'll be like, "Yep." He'll be like, "Well, what do you think you're doing?" I'll be like, "I'm Czech." He'll be like, "Oh, fair, never mind. You're free to go. It's fine." On my way.
There we go.
So I can get away with anything because I'm Czech.
Yeah, we ain't messing with that. Dude, I've just clocked the time. I've sort of obviously said I'll keep you for about an hour. It's flown by. But yeah, obviously, I just want to end it with sort of my summary of the whole Vusyk thing this year. I think you hit the nail on the head, like you said, with the Nathan Cruz thing, where I think anybody prior to this year, if they'd seen you, you know, they'd be like, oh, that guy's amazing in the ring. You know, he's technically sound. He's hard hitting. He's strong. Bish bash bosh. But this year, man, yeah, we've seen you get your teeth into something. We've seen you do storylines. We've seen you building, you know, the character. And as a fan base, we've kind of been on this journey with you where, you know, you're punching Sash, you know, you're getting that reaction, or, you know, your mentor's turned on you and you're having to deal with that kind of thing. Like I said, you've told stories this year, as well as obviously having awesome matches. And I think, you know, that's, again, it's another piece of the puzzle that's just clicked into place.
Storytelling is everything. Showing your adaptability is everything. If you're a one-trick pony, you're not going to move far unless you get very lucky. But if you can do essentially everything that professional wrestling has to offer, maybe not lucha, but you can do everything in professional wrestling that it has to offer, then you're going to go far.
You just say lucha now, so I just want to acknowledge this. I don't know, I know you was at the title show. I don't know if you got to see it or witness it. I just want to shout out the HT Drake versus Dynamite Lee Dawson at I want to say it was the Watch Lee show. They did like a wrestling masterclass. Mate, that was just, you just mentioned it there, you know, about the whole lucha thing. I was thinking like, well, maybe lucha, maybe sumo. It's a couple of things you can leave off the table. But it just made me think of that HT Drake match. I was like, that's really
I never got a chance to watch it, and I was really glad I didn't.
Dude, it was unreal. But yeah, mate, thank you so much, obviously, for joining us again. You know, having a chat, having a catch up. You know, there will be, you know, a third part, I hope, and then, you know, we'll be talking about, you know, the new Rev Pro or the new Progress champion. You know, Vusyk. You know, we'll be talking about the time when you took the belt off Spike Trivet at Tidal, and, you know, whooping Brady Phillips all over the country, taking all of his belts. You know, this is what's to come.
This is what's to come, because I'm Czech.
Yeah. Let people know, obviously, where they can clock you on the socials, and, you know, obviously see what shows you've got coming up, and look at all the awesome photos that have been taken of you.
At Vusyk_C said, you will find my Instagram, X or Twitter, if people still call it that. I still do. On TikTok, Facebook too, same thing essentially. You'll find me, especially because I got announced today, the next True Grit show, I believe, is on the 11th of January. 11th, yes, which is the Rumble show. And I can see on the poster, on the top, you have Brady Phillips and Rio next to Lana Austin and one Vusyk. So who knows what matches you will see there. Hopefully, we will soon find out when matches get announced, and when they do, I'm going to be very happy, regardless who I'm up against, because either I'm going to smash the face of Brady Phillips or I'm going to smash the face of Riley, hopefully, again and again and again and again. Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm going to be promoting it from the fucking rooftops. I'll be sending like those posts out. I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, I'll be hyping it up. Even if you don't get those matches, mate, I think you're going to be in the Rumble. And, you know, if there's any bookies out there, if people are going to start taking bets on potential Rumble winners, yeah, you know, I'd say you or Kemper would be odds-on favourite for me. So, you know, I would put money on. I'll just put money on both of you and double my odds. There we go. That's my two shout for the True Grit Rumble. You know, Vusyk or Kemper. You two in the final. It'll be like, again, show my age. It might be before your time if you never saw it. But there was a Rumble where you had Shawn Michaels against Undertaker, and they just basically had like a mini match at the end. It was like a 20-minute match at the end of the Rumble. It's like, yeah, there we go.
What year was that? Because I'll watch that.
I would say 2005, 2006, maybe.
2006. I'll watch that immediately.
Yeah. But yeah, basically it's like, don't quote me on it, I lose track of many. It might even be 2009 or 2010 or something. But it's obviously, it was before WrestleMania 25. You know, it kind of teased, you know, the dream match at WrestleMania 25 kind of thing. But yeah, massive Rumble. It's not the greatest Rumble, but then yeah, these two just have like a 20-minute match at the end, and it's fucking awesome.
That player. Well, the studying never stops. So the moment this interview is done, I'm going to look for that right now.
Crack it on. But dude, thank you obviously again, mate, from the heart. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. And obviously everybody else watching, hit like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the generic stuff that I tell you to do, or ask you to do. Sorry, I don't tell you to do it. I ask you to do it very nicely with the puppy dog eyes. And we'll see you again very soon. We are back later in the week with the brand. And I have an exclusive match announcement for a future show that they will be on to announce as well. So there we go. Thank you for watching, and remember, there we go. Oh, and be fighting noises. Remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.